was like, wow, okay. So that's the thing is like, again, it's so different, but also like Heather's no BS. Like she tells you like it is. And I appreciate that she like protects her family. Like I would probably be the same. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I mean, maybe not on camera. Like I'd probably keep it off camera, but I probably also wouldn't like tell somebody that they're probably going to lose a lot more like, but again, that's her personality. And I love that. So
do you think, because like Heather's saying like, okay, Shannon brought this all up to start trouble. And Shannon's like, well, I brought it up to kind of help you. Like, wouldn't you want to know that your friend sued your husband?
Yeah.
So, I mean, where do you fall? Like, I think your perspective is interesting because you haven't watched all these years.
No.
So, like, where do you fall? Like, do you think Shannon was like pure and like, this person did this, you should know? Or was Shannon like, I have to, was doing it like deviously, like Heather thinks?
I don't think Shannon was doing it deviously. I think that again, this is just with me, like just watching for the first time and not knowing any background on Shannon. I don't see her being vindictive like that. Just getting a feel for her character, or who she is, I guess. And I think she thought she was trying to be a good friend, but I think when she added alcohol to the mix and started talking about it before going to Heather was what the issue was. It's like, if you're going to come to somebody and you're going to bring them something like that, you want to make sure that you have a heart-to-heart with that person before it comes to that person through other people you've told. Like, maybe don't tell anybody and just go straight to the source, because it, that person can find out, which is what happened with Gina coming to her. And then the whole thing exploded. And again, I know that Shannon had good intentions, but the problem was alcohol. And when you mix alcohol with just like, personalities, things are going to come out. So I think that was the issue and why it came out the way it did. But I think that Shannon deep down had good intentions. It just kind of exploded in her face the way it came out. So she kind of gone straight to Heather.
People are mixed. The audience is mixed. Like, really? There's a lot of people love Heather, and a lot of people are just like, you are a mean girl. But I'm just saying it's literally 50-50.
Wow. Okay.
And I thought before this season started that I was saying this was 100% Shannon's last season, just because was kind of the one but the more that goes on, I'm not so sure anymore. Like, Shannon has a story. Like, I don't know. So I kind of take that back. I do feel bad for Shannon when she's crying, which, according to Heather, Shannon is not crying because she's sorry. She's not crying because she feels bad. She's crying because she
got caught.
So I just don't know. Listen, when Heather speaks, here's the thing about Heather. She is one of those, like a Bethany Frankel. She is, to me, so interesting to watch. Like, there's something there. She has that quality.
Completely. I would also be super intimidated. Again, like there's an age thing, when someone's that much older than you, when someone is that successful, right? So it's like, it's not great when somebody like that is pissed at you and is going to come at you. So I'm sure poor Shannon is just like, this sucks.
She's done interviews where she's like, when someone says that, she's like, my mind went dark and then it went darker. She's like, your mind wanders,
Yeah. Also, Heather Dubrow also gives me like Queen Bee vibes. So that's the other thing, is like, when Queen Bee is pissed at you, it just trickles through the whole social group. And so there's like that extra layer that I feel like Shannon's probably feeling from like, everybo's mad at me type thing. And I really messed up because it's not just with Heather, it's Heather talking to Gina, Heather talking to everybody else. So yeah, that's a lot.
And I agree with you. Like, Heather just cuts it off. So I do feel like she's no nonsense, that like, if she's mad, like, that's it. Like, it's just, you're going to be iced out. Like, she's not playing. No, this isn't completely. Like, let's talk about it. What do you think of Emily and Gina? Like, this is their 4th season. if you asked me 4 seasons ago, I would have predicted no shade that they wouldn't be here. I don't think they would make it to 4 seasons.
Sure.
But I mean, first of all, Gina to me is the breakout star of this whole season. That's just me. Like, Gina, I'm sorry I ever doubted you. Gina is the funniest thing on the entire season to me.
Oh, she's hilarious. Wait, you didn't like her before?
It's not that I didn't like her. It's like her and Emily, you know, it's hard because her and Emily came in when it was Vicky and Tamra, and you know what I mean? So it's like they were the two new girls. So look, you know how it is. How many words do you think they got in when it was Shannon and Vicky and Tamra and Kelly Dodd? They barely, I mean, they tried, I'm sure, but they weren't jumping out of the screen at you because it was Vicky and Tamra and Kelly Dodd and Shannon and others, but you don't get a word in with those four.
Yeah, that's game over.
Game over. So I think I underestimated them. Like, I've had like drinks and dinner with Emily in real life. Like, they were just very nice. I didn't see the angle of housewives.
Sure.
But here we are. And now I think that like Vicky's gone and Tamra's gone. It's like, oh, and listen, I'll admit when I'm wrong, Jo. Like, I take it back. I'm sorry, Emily. I'm sorry, Gina.
Yeah.
But Gina is just the breakout star of this season to me.
I think Gina's hilarious. I like the Gina and Emily kind of like dynamic duo personality. The two of them are like besties, and no matter what the situation is, like they kind of stick together and have their own, just their own little tribe, mini tribe within the group. I also think the two of them can cause a little trouble though, because they have each other's back. And so any new friends that they meet, it's like, it doesn't matter. The two of them are going to be loyal to each other first and foremost, which I mean, obviously is how it should be. But I kind of was like, I got to keep my eye on these two because they're going to cause some trouble this season. I feel like within.
Keep your eye on them. I really feel like from a producing standpoint, like I see why they're kept. I really think they're like the Vicky and Tamra. I mean, I know there's gasps now around the world. No one could replace Vicky and Tamra. I get it. But the show is moving in a different direction. Yeah. And it has moved. I think that this is like Tamra and Vicky of the future. Like I see it now. Like now it's 4 seasons. I'm like, okay, I'm familiar with you guys. And they stick together. They've had their own bumps in the road, but they stick together usually. But Gina wanting to be adopted by Heather and just being like this house and the towel warmers. And now we're at Polo and someone's betting $1 million on a horse. And like, she's just like, what world have I stepped into? Hallelujah, Jesus. Like,
yeah, but also like, I feel like I would say the same thing.
Me too.
Also, if Heather Dubrow's like listening, please adopt me. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing is like, it was the way I felt when I first stepped in like behind the gates. It's like, I didn't come from money. You step into this whole other level. And I'm not saying Gina doesn't have money, but like it's on a whole other level than she's probably ever experienced. And she's just like, holy crap. You know what I mean? Like my eyes, I thought I knew, but I had no idea type thing. And so when you experience it to that level, it's like magic.
Is that how you felt like when you first entered the gates of Coda de Caso, Jo?
A million percent, you know, like I went from just a normal, super like basic life of like shopping at Target and like, you know, going to the mall and like going to Nordstrom's. And to me, that was like fancy. Right. And I had my own money. I had my own career, but it wasn't to like the level of walking into a 6,000 square foot home or walking in with all these women that were like so much more older. Like they were a lot older than me. I was still a baby, but just like, for me, it was an intimidation factor, but also there was such a wealth that I had never experienced before, which was like fun and cool